gentlemen, welcome to the board. Welcome to your Saudi Arabia Grand Prix shop talk. Please make use of all the space available. Come all the way forward. Make sure you can get to a handrail as well, because these trucks do tend to pull away and stop quite jerkily. So please make sure you're holding on nice and tightly. We don't want you losing you over the side, because it's a long walk back. It's a 6-kilometre circuit. Welcome aboard, everybody. You've got to seem to have a lot of people on the right-hand side, and if we go around the left-hand, they might tip over. So please make use of both sides of the truck. That's it. There we go. Welcome aboard, everybody. Okay, so just a little bit of housekeeping before we set off. If you're wearing a cap or a hat on your head, please make sure it stays on your head. It gets quite windy once we get moving. Maybe turn it into DRS open position.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
If you've got sunglasses or glasses on your face, I don't know why you're wearing sunglasses, it's night time, but if you do, please make sure they stay on your face. We've lost many a Prada glass on Ray-Ban over the side over the years. And if you're holding a phone or camera, same goes for that. Please make sure you hold on nice and tightly. Anything you drop over the side, consider it gone. It's not yours anymore, it's ours, including your friend. So please don't push them over the side, it's not funny. Okay, so please make sure you're holding on nice and tightly, like I said. We do tend to pull away quite quickly and brake quite sharply, and we never know, might have to suddenly brake on the way around for a marshal truck or something picking up some marshals. My name is Josh Hill, I'm a racing driver from the UK, and I'm part of the expert host team here with the Paddock Club to provide you with a bit of insight and commentary during the weekend. And I wanted to give a big round of applause for my colleague here, fellow racing driver and Ed Bridle, fellow racing driver and expert host, Ed Bridle.
Thank you very much.
You are a professional Ed Bridle.
It wasn't a very loud round of applause though, was it?
No, well, you're not a Formula 1 driver yet, no. So yeah. But let's find out who we have on our chart, Ed, okay? So, if you are a Red Bull fan, I want you to give us a big cheer, Red Bull! Just them out the front. If you are a Ferrari fan! Yeah, not bad. You want to do one?
Mercedes fan!
That's pretty good. Let's just talk about Mercedes all the way around. Okay, up we go. So we're coming down towards turn 1 now, Ed, but on the way down, let's just recap what happened today in that qualifying session we saw earlier. And of course we've got to address the biggest news today, which is Carlos Sainz is not on the grid tomorrow. He's been replaced by a young Brit, Ollie Bearman, the youngest British driver on the grid ever, the youngest Ferrari driver on the grid ever. What a performance from him.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable and brilliant to see him. You know, he only jumped in the car this morning, straight into FP3, and he's really shined in qualifying. You know, yes, he didn't make it into the top 10, but he was only half a tenth off Lewis Hamilton, almost knocked him out, and for his first ever race weekend in a Ferrari Formula 1 car, he was exceptional.
Guys, can you hear us all right? I don't know if you can, yeah, okay, perfect. Yes, no, absolutely brilliant performance, and to nearly knock out a 7-time world champion on your first time of asking, not bad, pretty good in my book. So yeah, he'll be getting ready. Brand new Joe, they did a fantastic effort to get that car ready after FP3. Massive props to the mechanics in there. Just shows you that it's not just the drivers that are the best in the world here in Formula 1. It's the mechanics, and all the team personnel are so well oiled across the entire Formula 1 team. Now, we're finally making our way from the start line down towards turn 1. It's not a particularly long run here, but you can definitely see a lot of action in turn 1.
Yeah, you're carrying a lot of speed into turn 1 and 2, which ends up being one of the slowest points on the circuit here in Saudi Arabia. So, a very tricky complex, Josh. Slow speed, almost Mickey Mousey, left to the right. You really have to slow the car down, get the car settled, and then deploy that 1,000 brake horsepower on the exit. Which I will say, guys, please look out to the left-hand side of the truck when we exit turn 2, and you will see the tyre marks on the barriers. That shows you how close they're running to the wall every lap. You can just see it from the right on the Pirelli side. The black marks, that's their tyres, that they're rubbing the wall every lap, which is absolutely unbelievable. Please make sure you wave for the marshals and the fans, they're all here to see you.
Yeah, the racetrack starts off the weekend, doesn't it? It was nice and pristine when we ran around it on the other day. It was lovely and untouched, wasn't it? And then these stupid drivers come along, bash into the walls. put tire marks all over the place and make it look all dirty again. But it's a fantastic looking facility. I love this new hospitality building that they have here. It looks like a cruise ship as you drive underneath it. But yeah, we're coming into now the meat of the lap really comes straight away, doesn't it? After you get out that first chicane and get your foot down, you're heading towards this quick left flick, and then the drivers do not get a chance to blink until they're at the far end of the track.
No, it's super high speed, full commitment all the way through the rest of the lap really, as you were saying, Josh. You know, I think this is the fastest street circuit on the calendar, and you know it's Monza speed at Monaco walls, so you have to be super careful. The drivers are pushing 110% every lap, drive as hard as they can. And if they do make a mistake, it's a 200-mile-an-hour accident, isn't it?
As we saw with Granny Joe earlier in FP3's one small hesitant mistake there and ended up spinning around and off into the barriers he went. And we've also seen it in the past with people like Mick Schumacher just making that small mistake and you're quickly eaten up by the walls. Give a big wave to the marshals here. Nice big flag there, sir. Well done. And but guys, we are stood up on a track at the moment. We are 12 feet up in the air. These Formula 1 drivers, it's like sitting in a bathtub with your feet up by the taps. Your eyes in a Formula 1 car are 50 centimetres above, I believe, 50 centimetres, is that right?
Spot on, Josh.
Above the ground. And you can barely see a thing. You're over the concrete walls. So guys, lean over the side and just get a sense of how you see through the corner, because it's all about seeing as far ahead as you can, picking up that information early, and try and see as far through the corner as you can, sitting at ground level. It must be impossible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You think every time they come up to that corner, they're doing 140, 150 miles an hour through some of these corners, and their eyes are trying to look for and compute so many things into your brain. Marshal posts, turning in point, braking point, cars in front, cars behind, and that's all happening within the blink of an eye.
Absolutely, and this is where Granny Joe went off earlier through that left-hander. You can see his tyre marks on the left-hand side, there's black lines going across the pink, and he ended up in the barrier just by the opening in the wall there that actually leads to the support paddock where the F2 cars are. And we had a great F2 race earlier, nice and chaotic, just the way we like it, and hopefully to see a bit more of that tomorrow and a bit more of that in the Formula 1 as well. But we've also got a very special round championship here this weekend with us, the Formula 1 Academy.
Yeah, a really important series, feeding in young female talent into single-seaters and motorsport in general. A good, interesting race earlier on today, obviously for the Brits. Abby Pullen did a great job finishing second, just behind the superstar that is Noriad. And we did actually speak about it, didn't we? She is super fast, and I think, you know, against some of the boys, she definitely beat them.
Yeah, absolutely. Doriel, she has over the winter. She was in the UAE F4 series, and she got a pole and a win in that series. So she's driven and raced and won in World Endurance Championship as well, so definitely a very, very quick driver, and she's being picked up by Mercedes. And the great thing about this series is that all the drivers have been picked up by a team or a brand that is supporting a Formula 1 Academy. So really, really good to see such an amazing championship, and it's their first round this weekend, so please make sure you get here nice and early tomorrow to see their second round of the championship. Dorian Pan starting from pole position yet again as we come down into the very far end of the track. We finally made it to the other end.
Yeah, it's quite a long way, isn't it? It's
not a very long way in the Formula 1 car though.
No, not a long way in the Formula 1 car. It's a long way if you run it though. We did find that out, didn't we?
Yeah, I gassed myself by this point. I had to run all the way back again.
Yeah, I needed to get recovered back to the pit lane. But yeah, as you come into this corner here, again, an amazing complex. And I think you said, Josh, 14 degrees?
14 degrees of banking, and what that means is that you can really, really attack the entry of the corner with the car. You want to hug the inside wall as much as you can. That banking keeps you into the corner as well, and they're pulling anywhere between 3 to 4 to sometimes even 5 G through this corner. To give you an idea of what that feels like, your head and your helmet together will weigh roughly 10 kilos. Just times that by 5. So go down to the gym and set the cable machine up and to 50 kilos, and then just try and lift that with your neck edge.
Yeah, that's basically how it works, isn't it, Josh? And, we've both been very lucky to race single-seaters, high-aero cars. And I said it earlier, I first tested a high-aero car. I couldn't hold my head up by the end of the day, and I think you had a similar experience.
Yeah, I had a very, very stiff neck the next day. It's a little bit like if you do a very heavy leg day at the gym and you can't walk the next day. It's the similar thing, but just with your neck, isn't it? And we saw that actually a little bit with Ollie Behrman. If you're watching closely on his in-lap, after the qualifying had finished, he was resting his neck, he was actually resting his head, and his head was leaning the opposite way to the direction he was turning. And you can see next to his headrest, next to his head, a little foam blocks that they usually put in there just to help the driver support their head upright. Because as soon as you lose your neck and your head starts going uncontrollably left and right, you lose that kind of gyroscopic effect of being able to see and feel what the corner's doing.
Yeah, when, it's like a tripod on a camera. When that's stable, it's brilliant and you get a good photo, it's clear. When your neck goes, it's like you've just kicked the tripod over, and that's what it's like for the vision of a driver. Once that neck goes, everything's on a slant, it's very, it's quite tricky to get focus on what you're looking for. And, don't get me wrong, Ollie from Formula 2 is a super fit racing driver, or is an athlete in the whole, I know him and he lives with his trainer full time. They're in the gym every day, running, on bikes, in the gym. They are super fit, and that just shows you what the next level is like to getting into a Formula 1 car. We said earlier, Josh, the race in Formula 1 is 50% longer than what he is used to in Formula 2. So if he's knackered after 50%, he's got to do that all again and go a bit quicker.
Absolutely, and this is one of the circuits. It's the circuit with the most corners on the entire calendar. 27 corners around here, 6.2 kilometre long racetrack, and the second fastest track on the calendar. So it's one of the most physical endurance tests you have in Formula 1. And on top of all of that, you've got to keep it out of the wall, which is inches away from you, but yet you've got to use as much of that road as possible, so you're going to be driving right up to the wall. So you can imagine if you start losing your neck and your head starts flopping all over the place, it makes it quite difficult to not hit that wall. Now, this is the point where I thought I was quite close to the end of the lap on my run, and I put my foot down, and then I quickly ran out of steam because I realised there's still quite a long way to go down this straight. I call it a straight, it's not that straight really, is it? But it is a DRS zone.
Yes, when you look back, guys, on the height of the truck, it does look straight, but when you are lower to the ground, if you look back now, you can't see where it just come from, but they are still flat out in a Formula 1 car, DRS open, so they do treat this as a straight, even though it's not.
You get a maximum kind of sight line of maybe 100 metres at a time because of the curves, and at max speed with DRS open, you just got to hope and trust that there isn't a car sideways on the road or in the way of going too slowly. I talked to Oscar Piastri earlier, and he said you have closing speeds here of about 150 kilometres an hour, purely because one car might be backing off and one car's on a flying lap, and you just have to trust the marshals with their yellow flags and the yellow lights by the side of the road. They do get information through their steering wheel and from the engineer, from the FIA, and they get their information from the engineer on the pit wall, but their first port of call are those marshals on the side of the track with their flags, whistling their whistles as well. I don't think they'll hear them when they're in front car, to be fair. But we're finally coming back down towards another little flick to the left and a long right afterwards, but probably the one that's most fraught with danger here.
Yeah, we saw it in free practice 2 and 3. So we had Logan Sargent and FP3 actually clipping the wall through here, and if you look out to the left, you'll probably be able to see the marks on the inside wall. I think that really affected his whole day. So you look there, you've got to the left, that's where he made contact, and that's really ruined his day today because he's lost 50 minutes of running, which is a lot of time, especially in the circuit, that he's not done many races at many weekends. So 50 minutes of lost running is going to be half a second, isn't it, Josh? You don't have that confidence that everybody else has. You might not have got the car set up how you want it. So probably for him it's almost a blind, go and have a go and see how you get on.
And you also just leave an extra margin for error when something like that happens. If you know you've made a mistake at that one corner, then you're going to give yourself a little bit more leeway. The next time you attack it, it's just a little bit of a lack of confidence after that. And it takes time, especially on a circuit like here, to build that confidence back up. But we're finally out of all those twists and turns. We just have 2 simple corners left. It's really long, easy left. and then a nice hairpin towards the end. But let's talk about the race tomorrow. We've obviously got Max Verstappen lining up on the front row with Charles. Oh, lights are gone. Was it Charles? Oh, sorry, the lights just going back on again. Was it Charles or Sergio on the front row again? I forgot.
I'm sure it was Charles.
Charles, yeah, Charles on the front row with him, with Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso lining up on the second row. What can we expect from the race tomorrow? What's the strategy going to be looking like?
So again, long race, potential of safety cars, they're always thinking about that, the track positioning and pit stops. I would love to see Charles and Max go toe to toe into turn one. I think, get stuck in Charles, try and slow him down, make him make a decision, make him think about backing out of the move, because normally it's Max committing, the people running out of his way. So it'd be brilliant to see Charles have a go, and I think, if Aston have a strong race car, we know Alonso will not back around and he wants to get stuck in.
I saw a quote from a Fernando just after qualifying in the press pit, and Lando, excuse me, speaking about Fernando. He said that Fernando had told him that he has no worries about McLaren coming past him because they're not strong enough on the straights. Health and safety rolls there. So. Yes, so Fernando was saying that he's not worried about the McLarens in the race because they're not going to come past him because they're too slow in a straight line. So he's not worried about them behind, he's focusing on what's in front of him. But yeah, I think we'd all like to see Max Verstappen being challenged a little bit into turn one for once. He's always had these mega starts, he always just gets away at the start of the race, but it's so difficult to overtake around a street track like Jeddah here. So if Charles can get that launch off the line, get in front by turn two, then he can hold Max up a little bit and maybe push him back into the chasing pack. One thing about Jeddah, there's always been a safety car at some point during the race.
Yeah, always a safety car. That suddenly flows opportunities out in front of the drivers, gives them chance very quickly. An interesting
We've got a bit wide here. We've got the apex over there, sir, on the left.
Back to the left for us, and then we're joining onto the main straight. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating. I would really love to see Charles, even if he needs for a few laps, just get to the front, maybe back Max into the rest of the pack, and make it a dogfight. We want a dogfight for an hour, don't we?
We definitely do. But what about Sergio? Because he's in the opposite car to Max. He should be fighting Max for the championship. He was finished second to him last weekend out in Bahrain. Can he put up a fight for Max as well?
I hope so, and if I'm right, Sergio last year did win this weekend.
Yeah,
He did win.
He's a street fighter.
He was the street king after that. It didn't go so well after this round, but he's got form round here. He knows how to win this race. And it's early on in the championship. There shouldn't be any team orders as such to try and help Max with it. So they've got to let him race, haven't they? And I think Sergio is in obviously a really good car. He's had some fabulous results and some real underdog races over the years. So hopefully this is one where he gets proper stuck in.
Absolutely, I think so. And for myself as well, I just want to see Alonso steam around the outside of all of them and clear off into the distance because he's my driver, Alonso. All right, guys, so thank you so much for coming on this truck tour. Please hold on as we come to a stop, but we'll also give Ed Randall a big round of applause.
Thank you so much, and a massive round of applause for Josh Hill.
Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the race tomorrow if you are coming tomorrow. Otherwise, I hope you all had a lovely day. And please make sure you hold on as we come to a stop and mind a step on the way out.